There's a moment in life when you pause, look around, and wonder, am I truly living for myself, or am I merely playing a role written by others? From the time we are children, we are taught to seek approval. A kind word from a parent, a gold star from a teacher, applause from a crowd. It feels good. It feels reassuring. And so, without realizing it, we begin molding ourselves to fit expectations, adapting our dreams, our behaviors, even our very identities to be accepted. But what happens when the applause fades? What happens when, after years of trying to be everything for everyone, you look in the mirror and no longer recognize the person staring back? There is an old story, one that has been told in different ways across time. It is a story of a man who lived not for himself, but for the world's approval. Let me tell you his tale. There was once a falcon, strong and swift, born to fly across vast skies. But from the moment it hatched, it was placed in a golden cage by a well-meaning king. "You are special," the king told the falcon. "You must stay here, safe, admired, and adored." And so, the falcon lived within the cage, admired by nobles, praised for its beauty. But with each passing day, the cage felt smaller. The falcon longed to stretch its wings, to feel the wind rush beneath it. Yet, whenever it glanced toward the open sky, the voices around it whispered, "This is where you belong. You are too valuable to fly. What if you fail? What if you fall?" Years passed. The falcon forgot the feeling of the sky, the thrill of the wind. It convinced itself that the cage was home. But deep inside, a longing remained, a whisper in the silence. One day, the door of the cage was left open. The falcon stood at the edge, heart pounding. Freedom was a step away, yet fear gripped it. What if they are right, it thought. What if I fail? What if I am not meant for the sky? But then, another thought arose, one that had been buried for far too long. What if I am? And with that, the falcon leaped. For the first time in its life, it felt the wind, the rush, the power of its own wings. The voices faded. The fear melted. And in that moment, the falcon realized it had never been meant for a cage. Like the falcon, many of us live in invisible cages, built not of iron, but of expectations. Parents, teachers, friends, society, all shape us, telling us who we should be, what is safe, what is worthy. We learn to chase approval, fearing judgment. We measure our worth by the standards of others, forgetting that their vision of life is not our own. The truth is, living for others may bring temporary peace, but always comes at a cost paid in regret, in lost time, in dreams left untouched. But how do we break free? How do we step beyond the cage and claim our own sky? That is the journey ahead. There is a quiet tragedy that unfolds in the hearts of those who live for others. It does not strike suddenly like a storm. It settles in day by day like a slow erosion of the soul. You see it in the tired eyes of a man who spent his life in a career he never loved because it was expected of him. You hear it in the voice of a woman who sacrificed her dreams, not because she wanted to, but because she feared disappointing those around her. You feel it in the regret of those who reach the end of their days and whisper the same haunting words. I wish I had lived my own life. Consider the painter who never picked up a brush because their parents said art wasn't practical. The traveler who never left their hometown because society told them it was reckless. The dreamer who silenced their voice to fit into a world that never truly saw them. These are the invisible chains we carry, the weight of expectations, the fear of judgment, the quiet desperation of wanting more, but believing it is not ours to claim. And yet, no matter how much you sacrifice, no matter how perfectly you mold yourself to desires of others, the truth remains. You will never please everyone. There will always be someone who disapproves, someone who expects more, someone who says, you should have done this differently. So ask yourself, if judgment is inevitable, why not be judged for being yourself? To live for yourself is not to reject the world. It is to embrace it fully, on your own terms. It does not mean selfishness, nor does it mean isolation. It means honoring the voice within you, the one that has been whispering for years beneath the noise of expectations. But where do you begin? Step 1. Identify what you truly want. For so long, You have been shaped by the desires of others. But beneath those layers, your true self remains. Take a moment to ask, if there was no one to judge me, no one to please, what would I do? Who would I become? Let the answer come, not from obligation, not from fear, but from the depths of your own heart. Step 2, set boundaries without guilt. Living for yourself does not mean abandoning others, but it does mean drawing a line. Not everyone will understand your path, and that is okay. You are not responsible for carrying the weight of their expectations. Learn to say no, not with anger, but with quiet certainty. No, I will not live a life that is not mine. No, I will not trade my dreams for approval. No, I will not betray myself to fit into a world that does not see me. And with every no spoken to others, you say yes to yourself. Step 3, let go of the need for approval. There will be discomfort. There will be moments when you wonder if you are making a mistake. But remember this, the people who truly care for you will not demand that you shrink yourself to make them comfortable. And those who do, their approval was never worth having. Because in the end, when the years pass and the curtain begins to close, you will not look back and wish you had made others happy. You will look back and ask, did I truly live? And the only answer that will bring peace is one spoken with certainty. Yes, I did. There's a common misunderstanding when people hear the phrase, live for yourself, not others. They assume it means becoming selfish, indifferent, or cutting ties with everyone around them. But true self-living is not about rejection. It is about alignment. Misconception 1, living for yourself means abandoning others. Some believe that choosing your own path means turning your back on family, friends, or responsibilities. But that is not true. You can still care for others, support them, and love them without sacrificing yourself in the process. A candle does not dim itself to light another. In the same way, you do not have to diminish your light to be there for the people you love. Misconception 2, self-focus is selfish. Selfishness is when you act with no regard for others. Living authentically is when you act with regard for yourself. There is a difference. The more fulfilled you are, the more love, energy, and wisdom you have to give. A life lived in resentment and exhaustion serves no one. But a life lived with purpose and joy inspires others to do the same. Pitfall: confusing freedom with recklessness. In the pursuit of living for yourself, be careful not to mistake impulsiveness for authenticity. Living true to yourself does not mean acting without thought. It means choosing with intention. Ask yourself, does this path bring me peace, or am I simply rebelling against the expectations I once followed? True freedom is not about running from something. It is about moving towards something greater. As this journey comes to a close, take a deep breath and let these words settle within you. The world will always have opinions. It will always have expectations. But at the end of the road, when all is said and done, only one question will truly matter. Did you live for yourself, or did you merely exist for others? Imagine yourself years from now, looking back at your life. What will you see? A path walked by choice, or a road shaped by the hands of others? The beauty of life is that no matter where you are now, you can decide. Right here, in this moment, you can choose to let go of the weight of approval, to walk your own path, no matter how uncertain, to embrace the truth that you were never meant for a cage. So step forward, stretch your wings, and know that no matter where you go, the sky has always been yours. The greatest tragedy is not a life unlived. It is a life lived for someone else. Now go live. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to reflect. Are you living for yourself, or are you living for the approval of others? The choice is yours. If you're ready to break free from expectations and step into a life that is truly yours, start today. Leave a comment below sharing one thing you will do for yourself, not for approval, not for validation, but for you. And if you found value in this, subscribe to the channel for more reflections, stories, and insights that help you reclaim your path. Remember, your life is yours to live. Choose it, own it, live it.